Hello everyone, this is Dharma Astrology once again bringing you another video in my transit series. Join me on this journey. Sign up, share and subscribe. Should you have any queries or questions at the end of this video, drop me a line at zeta55@outlook.com or check me on my blog at zedamastrology.com. Okay, I'm welcoming you once again to Zedam Astrology for the period September 20th to October 10th, 2022. This is my reading and analysis with the union of the Tarot and Vedic Astrology transit of the Grahas, and let us see what these cards are going to bring out for us. As always, I'm starting off with the deities and the energy cards that will give us a context in the readings at Zedam Astrology. And the first card that we have here is Bittersweet. And Bittersweet is the chakra wisdom card for the Vishuddha chakra, which is the throat, which is all about communication, all about probably eating, how you eat and what you eat and how it impacts your health. So that we need to look at Bittersweet. And Bittersweet seems to be coming up quite a bit in the past few months, so probably we haven't completed something that a message sent to us, or we haven't completed a task or a job, so we'll need to look at that. And then the element, the graha here is Uranus, and Uranus is one of the outer planets that is not usually analyzed in Vedic astrology, but because I'm using tarot and Vedic astrology, I have utilized the outer planets of the Uranus, Neptune and Pluto. And I utilize it because I believe that once you have knowledge, you're supposed to share it. You don't need to hoard that knowledge. And here we have the 10th bhava picking up for us in the house that we should be concentrating on, or that the deities are telling us to look at again. And the 10th house has come up quite a bit like Bittersweet. So is it that we are incomplete in our career, in our profession? What is this coming up for us all the time? And here the element we have is earth. And earth is reliable, earth is stable. And if you follow me on Zedam Astrology on YouTube, you will know that I also do a tarot series with the trine concept. And the trine concept with the earth is inclusive of Taurus, Virgo and Capricorn, because these are the three earth signs in Western and Vedic astrology with the zodiac sign. So that, you can look at that too to get a further understanding of what the earth trine is going to give you for this period. And here I'm going to choose the deity for the period September 20th to October 10th, 2022. And that deity is Lord Kurma, the tortoise avatar of Lord Vishnu. And recall that Lord Vishnu has 10 major avatars, 9 of which has already come on earth, and the 10th, which is Kalki, is supposed to come to earth to help us balance good against evil when it really becomes a tragedy or a critical chronic issue in the world. So we look forward to the arrival of the Kalki avatar from Lord Vishnu. And here I'm going to choose now the selection for the Tetractys spread, which is used to further clarify the transit of the Grahas, and we are dealing with the period September 20th to October 10th, 2022. And let us see what that first card is going to be. And that first card, which is the foundation, which is the premise of the entire spread, is the Two of Swords. So the Two of Swords, then we have the Moon. The Moon is the second card. The third card in the power line is the 10 of Pentacles. So the power line is the Moon and the 10 of Pentacles. The harmony line starts off with the 6 of Cups. Then it goes to the Star. The Star. There we have it. And the final card in the harmony line is the 7 of Wands. So now we deal with the material line where, it's everyday routine. And here we have the 9 of Cups. The 9 of Cups followed by the Temperance card. So some kind of balance with our choices probably. And then we have the 10 of Cups. And finally, we have the 10 of Wands. So we have 3 tens in this reading. Let us see what it's all about. Okay, so we are moving on to the transit of the Grahas for the period September 20th to October 10th, and this is the placement of the planets or the Grahas in the sky on September 20th, 2022. And as you can see, Jupiter has remained in Pisces, so has Saturn remained in Capricorn. Neptune, Pluto, and Uranus will not be moving for a while because you know those are the longest and slowest moving planets of the zodiac, the outer planets. So they still remain in Capricorn, Aquarius, and Aries respectively. We have Ketu and Rahu in Libra and Aries respectively. Then Mars remains in Taurus. We have Venus and Moon in Leo, and Mercury and Sun in Virgo. So that is the placement of the planets as you see it in the position of the sky or the universe for the period September 20th to October 10th, 22. And what does this all mean? And recall that I said transits are always secondary to the dashas, the Mahadasha that you are experiencing, which makes Vedic astrology so unique to you. So that if I don't have your date of birth, your time of birth, your place of birth, then I won't know your dasha. So that this reading is more of a generic reading as to the potential of the energies being displaced or coming together for the start of a period in the sky and what they can mean for you once I know your dasha. If I don't know your dasha, then the transits really just have a generic issue for you. And transits are calculated from the natal moon and the natal ascendant. And the moon may be giving you more of a mental or emotional influence, while the transits from the ascendant can impact you physically. And here I have the natal moon, and the natal moon here is just placed there, but let us say that this natal moon is placed in Gemini. Your natal moon is in Gemini. Then the transit moon is 3 spaces away from the natal moon, and that transit moon could be beneficial or could be malefic. And you know there are placements that give you that. It's a formula that for the placement of each planet in its place away from the natal moon or natal ascendant, it is going to give you a particular reading. So which is why your information is so important. And here we still have a mutual 7th aspect between Jupiter and Mercury. Sun has now joined them, and this mutual aspect is a 7th aspect, which is an opposition. So they are fighting for a placement. They are fighting to give off their energy and win the battle, as it were. And Jupiter is in his own home in Pisces, and Mercury is in his own home in Virgo. So it's quite a battle. And then Sun has come to join the fray in Virgo, where Sun is telling you, you know, I am here also. I am not conjunct because Sun is at 319 and Mercury is at 9.5, which makes Mercury combust still because it's 14 degrees away from the Sun. That makes Mercury combust, and Mercury is less than 14 degrees here right now. So Mercury is combust, so Mercury continues to be uncommunicative, probably disruptive in that respect, because Sun is there with Mercury and they are both fighting with this mutual aspect against Jupiter in his own home in Pisces. So that is something we have to look at. And we spoke about ad nauseum about the aspect of Saturn on the 3rd aspect of Saturn on Jupiter, and that third aspect is, you know, contraction versus expansion, because Jupiter is about expansion but Saturn is about contraction. So we have spoken about this aspect between Saturn and Jupiter for the last couple months, because they are not moving, they are remaining there for a while. But the mutual aspect that Mercury and Sun has on Jupiter is something different, you know, and Jupiter has a desire to achieve, to grow, to learn. Sun is straightforward and gives a clear direction, while Mercury wants to engage and communicate, but they all oppose each other, and then Mercury is retrograde. Sun is never retrograde, but Jupiter is retrograde also, and Saturn is retrograde at this point in time. So that, you know, when Jupiter and Mercury is opposing each other, because Jupiter wants to learn, but Mercury wants to engage, so to have some kind of communication, but Jupiter just wants to sit and read a book and learn. So there's going to be an opposition there. They're in their own home. Who is going to win? Who is the stronger of these planets or grahas in your particular or specific chart? You know, if you want to find out specifically for you, then drop me a line, look at what I offer on my website, and you can, you know, choose something that is fitting for you. Sun and Mercury are not enemies, but Sun and Mercury are in Uttara Palguni Nakshatra. Sun is in Pada 2 and Mercury is in Pada 4. And this is a nakshatra owned by Sun. So Sun may have the upper hand here in terms of the nakshatra, because the energy of the nakshatra is going to be bending towards Sun. And Sun and Mercury are not enemies, so Sun is comfortable in Virgo. So Sun may get the upper hand here, and that, you know, the Mercury and the communication might be a bit disruptive. And as I said, I've already spoken a lot about Saturn aspect in Jupiter, you know, contraction versus expansion, where Jupiter is the part of you that seeks, you know, rewarding experiences. Find what you enjoy doing and do a lot more of it, you know, expand on your enjoyment, expand on your pleasure. But Pisces is a kind of spiritual, contemplative zodiac sign. So we need to pull back our egos a little bit and let our sense of compassion and spirituality expand to help us truly understand or empathize with other people. I've spoken on this at great length in my previous 2 transits, because Jupiter has not changed its position, neither has Saturn. And you know, Saturn represents the part of you that focuses on responsibility, on duty, so that when you perform your dharma, you become responsible for those around you, the masses, because that is what Capricorn is all about. And Saturn retrograde in Capricorn gives you the incentive to overcome the fear of being judged. You know, you probably don't want to be judged by people, or there's some legal issue that you are afraid of being judged by. But Saturn helps us to create a plan that helps us to work towards accomplishing our goals. So when Saturn makes its trip through the sign of Capricorn, it could feel like we're going through our own, you know, rite of passage. That is something that we have to do, our fate. And the transit of Saturn in Capricorn brings about destiny for us. And you know, I want to talk a little bit about the padas that we are seeing. We are seeing here in this transit that Mercury is in Pada 4, Venus is in Pada 4, Moon is in Pada 4, Uranus is in Pada 4, Mars is in Pada 4. So these 5 planets, which is like 41% of the planets here, are in Pada 4. And Pada 4 is all about moksha, all about liberation, all about getting release, all about relieving your tension and stress. So 1/3 of the planets in this period is telling you, you know, I am in Pada 4 right now, and It's to liberate you from whatever is holding you back in the material world, liberate you for you to expand and see what is around you, to have empathy for others and yourself, because part of 4 is all about that, all about getting release from daily routine, daily tensions, daily stress, what you think about that you don't have, that you wish that you have. And these 5 planets are telling you, probably take a release one third of the time, because it's just over 40%, which is a little more than one third, obviously. But it's telling us that it is a time for our spirituality to come to the fore, our spirituality to look forward to being by ourselves, isolating ourselves, meditating. And this is what, we have that choice to make. And let us look at the transit, not the transit, let us look at the cards that are coming up here now in the tetractys spread, which is the beginning of it. And the beginning of it we spoke with is the 2 of Swords. And the 2 of Swords is all about choices. The 2 of Swords is all about making a difficult choice that, we have to face. We have to face our fears, because we can't be blind to the truth anymore. Pains and hurts from the past are affecting you, and you're caught in the middle. And this is what the card is telling you. And the Moksha Nakshatra Padas 4 here, where one third of the Grahas are in the Moksha Padas. It is telling you, make that choice so that you won't be stressed, and the 2 of Swords, in keeping with the nature of its suit and governing element air, indicates a mental crisis of some sort. We know that this sword card is also 2, therefore the crisis is more likely to do with making a decision about something or someone. Because we are dealing with the swords, this will not be an easy decision to make. It is bound to be causing us a lot of stress and mental anguish. A decision needs to be made here, however, but fear prevents us from making that decision and making progress, because we have on blindfold. We need to take off that blindfold, and we are crossing the swords over our heart so that we don't want to get hurt emotionally. We are blocking our hearts from getting hurt, is the symbolism of that swords and those crossed arms. And the blindfold is telling us that we don't want to see the truth. Internally a battle is raging between our heart and our head. But the sword is telling us, use logic, use reason, because we need to act instead of remaining rooted on a spot with a blindfold on and our back to the sea, which is calm. We're not seeing that the sea is not turbulent, that we can cross that bridge or that chasm quite easily, but you may be afraid of facing yourself too, depending on the circumstances. So this 2 of Swords, coupled with the nakshatras, the pada 4 of the 5 planets in the pada 4 in the nakshatras, tells us that we have a choice to make. We have a choice to make. And here we have the moon, and the moon is the first in the power line, and that moon is all about the cosmic law of creation. And the cosmic law of creation tells us about the consequences of our action. So the consequences of our choice is that, we are caught in a bind, we are fenced in, we have restrictions placed upon ourselves, we are in a dilemma, we are unfocused, we have illusions about it. This is what the moon is telling us here in the power line. So our power comes from our mental capacity to decide and to put aside the fear and confusion. And when the moon appears, you must face your fears. You must face your fears and move forward regardless. Maybe you are worrying about nothing. Your fears are all in your mind, and they may never even be realized because it's in your mind. It's not a physical entity. But it tells us that we need to make that decision. And moon right now, as we see here, moon is in Leo, and moon is in Leo in Punarvashu Pada 4. And when moon is in Leo, which is a fixed fire sign, our tempers may flare and egos may rage, we may be seeking attention which we should not be doing, getting and keeping it may be brought to the forefront, so that we don't want that to happen, because Moon in Leo gives that extra fire to us. And the moon is transiting Leo, and this is really an energetic and aggressive time where you need to double down on yourself to get the task completed. But this is only for 2.5 days, because remember, moon moves every 2.5 days from one zodiac sign to another. But at the beginning of the period on September 20th, this is what we have to look at. And the next card in the power line is the Ten of Pentacles. And the Ten of Pentacles takes the position of the Sun, which is in Virgo right now with Mercury, and it's opposing Jupiter in Pisces. And the Ten of Pentacles holds the second position in the power line under Sun, which is the light. But it tells you it can bring about conflict. But the Ten of Pentacles is all about wealth, security, protection, stability. So this card suggests you have done or will do very well for yourself, not by chance, but by working very hard to achieve it. And if you're working very hard to achieve something, then you have had to have made a choice. So what is the choice you made? And probably it's telling you too that the choice you're going to make from the Two of Swords and the Moon is going to give you wealth and financial security. And it's more likely a stable and reliable foundation that you're forming with your power line here now. You may have had a long-term vision or goal that is now being realized because you have made the choice, and you have come into the rewards of the manifestation of your hard work. Your careful planning and methodical approach and the application of tried and tested methods through the Ten of Pentacles, the traditional methods, have kept you on the straight and narrow. So you may have taken inspiration from those who have gone before you, the traditional way, or the experienced one, the wisdom, the experience and teachings of older persons, of older traditions, of things that have been gone through the test of time, the rite of passage. It has been a long road to your success, and many sacrifices have been made along the way, but you are now in a position to finally enjoy the rich rewards that the Ten of Pentacles is going to bring for you, because this suggests comfort and luxury which you have rightly earned. And as I said, the Sun is in Virgo, affected by the ruler Mercury, who is retrograde, and that is mental chaos and indecisiveness. And Mercury in Virgo retrograde becomes especially disruptive, because Virgo rules everything having to do with your day-to-day life, including your work, health, and routine. And as I've mentioned before, both Sun and Mercury are in Uttara Phalguni Nakshatra, which is kind of an impartial with Lord Aryaman, being the deity there. But that nakshatra, the Uttara Phalguni nakshatra, blesses the union and rewards the wolf we feed. And when I say the wolf we feed, there's that old legend where we have two wolves within us, and the one that we feed is the one that will come out, that we will show to be our true nature. So are we feeding the wolf with negativity or positivity? What are we feeding that wolf with? And that is the Uttara Phalguni Nakshatra, and that is what is the combustion here between Mercury and Sun, and their energies that is being thrown in opposition to Jupiter in Pisces. So which wolf are we feeding here to give opposition to Jupiter? Because remember, Jupiter is also retrograde. So what Jupiter may want to expand might actually be contracting. And it is important for you to know which house is Pisces for you and which house is Virgo for you. Because if Virgo is your first house, then you yourself are going to throw your energies onto the seventh house, which is your relationships, because that will be, Pisces will be your relationship house if Virgo is your first house, because Pisces will be your seventh house, all about your spouse, your relationship, your network, how you view people and how you view communities. That is where you will be throwing either your positive or negative thoughts in opposition to what Jupiter wants to do. And if Jupiter is retrograde in Bhava 7, as in Pisces, if we look at Virgo as being the ascendant, then being retrograde, Jupiter may not want to learn. Jupiter may want to just be isolated. Jupiter may not have empathy or sympathy. You know, he may want to dig deep down and remain by himself and keep that knowledge to himself, or give you wrong information. Not that he wants to do that, but he may not have a choice in which to do it. So your houses and which of these houses are specific to you is really important, and you can only get that specificity from me knowing your information to give you your kundali or birth chart. And then we now come to the harmony line, and the harmony line starts off with the destroyer, what needs to be removed to move forward. And here we have the Six of Cups. And the Six of Cups often suggests that the past is being focused upon, and that the issues surrounding the past are influencing your current decisions. And again, it's the moon. So you see the moon and moon here in these two cards, the moon here and the Six of Cups, all in line here with your choice. So what is the choice that you are going to make? Are you dwelling too much in the past that you don't want this Ten of Pentacles to be, you know, the reward or the power that you have? What is the past issue that you are dwelling so much on that is blocking, or that could be blocking your choice here, or keeping you blinded, that you don't want to face? And the Six of Cups is telling you this is the harmony line for you to achieve balance. You know, what is influencing you from your past that you can't find the answer today with the Two of Swords? You know, by looking into your past, you may find the answer, the solution, or at least an explanation. But is that good enough? Are you still having on that blindfold that is telling you, you know, I don't want to see it because it hurt me in the past, and I'm protecting my heart right now, that I don't want to get hurt again? You know, memories of the past may flood in, but for some reason or another, the past is significant in your life right now, and you must ask why. You know, it may be due to your current situation, and you know, not bringing you the happiness you seek. And you know, it does not necessarily mean childhood, but you could be yearning for the, you know, you could be having a yearning for the past, for your childhood days when you were happy, when you went to school and had happy memories. And it's, but the Six of Cups can also be a warning, you know, that you are living in the past or fixated in the past. And if you are too rooted in the past, then it stops you from moving forward, so that you are blinded here. You are crossing your hands over your heart not to get hurt, but you have to make a choice, because for you to progress, you know, you have to make a choice, because there is a danger of becoming shut down and narrow-minded. You know, your memory of the past can also be distorted, and if you continue to live in the past, life will pass you by and leave you behind. And then in the harmony line, the second card that we have here is the Star. So this is the sustainer, what helps you maintain balanced life. And the star is what helps you maintain a balanced life. You know, it brings calm after the storm, a release from the burdens of the past. Your faith has been restored in life, and you are free to approach life with a great sense of a personal freedom. You know, this freedom can be mental, emotional, or physical. So you have a great sense of hope for the future, and a belief that tomorrow will be better. So that's how you have to think. The Star is clarifying this is how you have to think. And these moksha padas in the transit of the Grahas, the five planets, Uranus, Mars, Mercury, Venus, and Moon, telling you that, you know, you have to look at releasing stress, releasing yourself from tension, you know, liberating yourself from the agony of making a hard decision by making that decision. So you don't have to overthink it. You don't have to think about it all the time and stress out yourself. This is the alignment I want to focus on for you this week on, or this period, on the transit of the Grahas with the tarot card. And then the final card in the harmony line is the creator card, as to what drives you in a new direction. And it's the Seven of Wands. And this card is letting you know that, you know, your commitments are becoming demanding more and more from you. You know, let's face it, you wouldn't give your achievements back, so therefore you must hold tight and hang on in there until things improve, or until you get a grip of the situation, as it were. You know, with the seven comes introspection and the need to review your plan as a different approach. That may become necessary, you know, for you to look at something different, but you have two choices there. The Two of Swords tells you that you have two choices. So the two choices here is also coming back to these part of four, these five part of four that I want you to look at, you know, in terms of the planets that are giving you all of these. And just, you know, as an aside here, moon in part of four is Vargotama in that Punarvasu nakshatra, and this nakshatra comes through in Leo, which is the fixed fire sign, but the nakshatra, the Punarvasu nakshatra, in the 1 degree 4 minutes position is a chara. You know, it's something that is going to give you a movement, a new beginning. So look at it and understand that the choice you make is going to give you the rewards of the Ten of Pentacles, but it is also going to tell you that, you know, look at it in a new light, look at it in a new perspective for you to gain the harmony. And if the demands become too great, then you need to delegate, you know, for it's certain that you cannot do it yourself. So that think about it, think about how you gain that harmony through the Six of Cups, the Star, and the Seven of Swords. And then we have the material world, how you cope with everyday life. And the first card in this is the Saturn position, and it comes from the Nine of Cups. And Saturn is still here in the Nishta Pada 1. And Pada 1 is all about your duty, your dharma, your responsibility. And the Nine of Cups is a welcome card here, because, you know, you will be going through a period of great happiness and contentment once you make that choice. Because look at where the Nine of Cups, the line is. It goes straight to your choice, your mental reasoning and logic, your focus on the past, your focus on something that happened in the past that is probably keeping you back from making that choice. But here the Nine of Cups tells you that it's going to bring you happiness when you make that choice. You know, you have to take the smile and laugh, because here it is strongly suggested that you are emotionally in a strong place. The Nine of Cups is all about emotion, and the Nine of Cups is a strength card for you here in terms of your emotion. You know, great joy and happiness accompany this card, and it comes from a great depth. So, you know, you have that depth, that reliability of your emotion, because the Nine of Cups is traditionally known as the wish card, and so that you are wishing for whatever you are wishing for this period, and it's going to come through, you know, because this is what the Nine of Cups is telling you in the material world in regards to how you cope with everyday life. And then we have the exploration of your emotions, the Water card. And the Water card gives us temperance as blessings, and the beauty in things accompanies the Temperance card. You know, healings of emotion and spirit may be taking place under this card, under this balance. So this card gives balance to the harmony line. This line here, Temperance, gives balance to this harmony line, and that is where the balance we are going to get the situation, because we are taking the right action in a calm and possibly volatile situation, because the volatile situation is here in the Two of Swords, where we are blindly, or we have blinded ourselves and not looking at the truth and facing our fears to make that decision. You may be pouring oil on troubled waters, bringing peace to all, and Temperance suggests it's a time of inner peace and the ability to forgive others. So this past card in the Six of Cups is telling you that, in the past somebody may have done something to you which you are fixated on right now, but you need to have the ability to balance that hate with forgiveness, because this is what Temperance is telling you in the material world, how you cope with the everyday life. And the next card in the air, which is your strategies and your thoughts, which Jupiter is overseeing at this point in time, comes with the Ten of Cups. And the Ten of Cups is peace, harmony, prosperity in life, or your endeavors leaves you, with deep contentment and gratitude. It is a time for being aware of and thankful for all the blessings that have been bestowed on you. So while you have a choice to make, you also have to understand you need to thank God or Bhagwan for what you do have, because you do have things for you to have a choice. Because some people have no choice. They are given what they are given, and they don't have a choice to make. You have a choice. So you have to give thanks and request assistance and offer some kind of sacrifice to Bhagwan and God for giving you this Ten of Cups, for giving you the celebratory period in your life. Some of you may be down and out of luck, but this card is telling you now good luck has been bestowed on you, because you have strived continuously to achieve this and to manage the pot of gold that is at the end of the rainbow. This card can be a sign that you are being or will be rewarded for all your good deeds and that open big heart of yours, so that you are now in a position that you can really appreciate where life has delivered you. And you might become emotional, because it is the Ten of Cups we're talking about. And it is a happy way, of course, because they say we shed happy tears. So this is how you are going to cope now. You might be crying, but you are really happy in life. And what is the final clarity card that we have here? We have the fire card, Mars, which is the will and ambition and the creative force. And we have the Ten of Wands here, and it's the culmination of the consequences of too much energy, where we see the end of the road, but we are so tired, we are so lethargic now, because oh my gosh, I can't take another step to reach that goal. And that is where Mars is telling you, no, you do have the passion. Take the rest, because Mars is in part of 4 in Rohini, and Mars is in the place where they are going to tell you take that rest, because part of 4 is telling you it's moksha, it's liberation. Relieve yourself of the stress and the tension and the negativity. That is what this card is telling you. We have all been guilty of overextending ourselves and probably saying never again, but it is harvest time, as this card suggests. We are nearing the end, and we need to take that rest before we take the next step. It is a burden we have carried with us for a long time. The burden comes through with the choice that we have to make. This is the line, this is the choice that we have to make, but we have to understand that we are going to be rewarded, because the Ten of Pentacles is here with the reward for us. The Seven of Wands is telling us take that last stand. The Ten of Wands is telling us take a rest, ease the little strain and stress, because the burden is going to be lifted. So that the outcome here is the Ten of Wands. And then we have the 3 tens in this reading, which suggests that it is a little bit confusing, it's going to be a little bit disruptive, but it all depends on the decision that we are going to make. And then what are the deities? Well, we have Uranus here, and Uranus here is in Bharani Nakshatra again in Pada 4 in Aries. And Uranus is telling us at this time, again, take a rest, because Uranus is in Pada 4. And Uranus is all about looking at ourselves as to our creation and understanding that at the end of the day, the cards, it's giving us clarity as to we have to be a little bit stress free right now to make that decision. And Uranus is at the end of the day giving us a choice again to be part of the meditation or the yoga or the stress-free environment that we are looking at and that we are wanting for ourselves to gain that reward and that outcome of the Ten of Wands that we are looking at. And at the end of the day, let us see what again the deities, and I spoke about bittersweet. Bittersweet is we want to do something, we want to celebrate, but we have to make the choice. So bittersweet clarifies that Two of Swords choice that we have to make. It tells us that we do have to make it. It tells us that we have to understand that at the end of the day, we can't get away from it. But we are better off than most, because some do not have a choice to make. Some do not have a choice. We do. And Lord Kurma is telling us, the avatar of Lord Vishnu is telling us at the end of the day, it is all about becoming becoming beneficial to a union, becoming beneficial to, at the end of the day, a desire for better things, for independence, for moving forward, for communication, for engaging, so that he is the sustainer, the maintainer, the person who balances what we want to balance, so that Lord Vishnu is the part of the Trimurti, the Hindu Trimurti, that gives us that balance. And Lord Kurma is his avatar, so that it gives you a sense of what we have to balance. And Earth is telling you there's a stable foundation, a reliable foundation for us. And the 10th house, responsibility brings success, Become a person of power and status, but you can only do that through your duty, your dharma. And Saturn is in Capricorn here, telling you to become a person of responsibility, of focus, of energy, practice discipline, as it were. This is what this 10th house card is telling you. It is probably, I'm not seeing it as being the 10th house your career, but I'm seeing it as the 10th house as to your responsibility and what you have to do, where you are going, and your desires and your destiny, how you are going to meet your destiny. So this is the transit of the Graha for the period September 20th to October 10th, my reading and analysis of it as clarified by the tarot spread, the tetractys spread, and the deity cards for the period. At Zidam Astrology, you would understand now that I always give thanks to Bhagwan for him allowing me to complete another video and for me to share my knowledge and research with you. You would understand that I do things differently and that I have included tutorials in my slides where you can skip over if you're not a new subscriber or client. But it gives you an insight into how I think, how I analyze, and why I do what I do at Zidam Astrology. I thank you for listening, and I hope something new and exciting enters your thoughts and enables your dreams. Be safe, happy, and healthy until we meet again, and hope to see you next time. Bye. Okay, at Zidam Astrology, you know that I do things differently in regard to the transit of the analysis of the Grahas or the planets. And I do things differently because of the movement of the planets, where they move either monthly or annually, or like Saturn every 2.5 years. And one of the reasons is that I don't want to give you a routine or boring or just say the same thing over and over again. And I have utilized the union of tarot and Vedic astrology as a method for my analysis in Patra Kundali reading and analysis at Dharma Astrology. And this is just a visual for you to understand a little bit of what I'm doing. This is a Kundali or birth chart taken of somebody who is born on May 17th, 1945. And this is their natal chart. And the natal chart shows the ascendant in Leo with Jupiter. So the ascendant in Leo immediately denotes that Leo becomes the first bhava, the first house, the house about you and yourself. Then we have Ketu here in Sagittarius, which is the 5th house. Then we go to Venus and Mars in Jupiter, Mercury in Aries, Sun in Taurus, Rahu and Saturn in Gemini, Moon in Cancer. So you go clockwise in this chart. And this is your natal chart. This is a chart that you cannot change because this is your date and time of birth, predestined for you. This is your fate. This is your lineage. This is your bloodline. This is your ancestor. And with it comes karma from the past life, deeds that were left undone. And it presents itself here for you as your soul's mission. What is it you came on this earth to do? On May 17th, 1945. So this is your natal chart, right? And if I don't have your natal chart, then I don't know where your ascendant is, what is your first house, and where the planets are posited for you. And then we come to the transit of the Grahas, which is what I do for you on this bi-weekly basis. And this transit, these Grahas placement are just arbitrary, you know, it's just to give you a visual. And let's just say that this transit Grahas on the day that I'm doing this video on the 17th, that the transit of the Grahas reads as how these are. We find Mars in Virgo. Mars is in Virgo, Venus is in Libra, Sun is in Sagittarius, and so forth, so on, so that you see the difference to the natal placement. And when we do transits, transit comes secondary to your dasha. And for the Vedic persons who are aware of what that is, it's just a cycle of life for others. It's a cycle of life that tells you this is the planet or graha that is the main person for you in this period of life. And each graha has a different timeline. So that if I don't even know your Mahadasha, then it makes it even more difficult for me to target you specifically or personally for the transit. This is why I don't do daily horoscopes, and this is why the transit of the Grahas in my videos are just generic. It's general. It tells you what the planet is going to give out for that period on that sign. It doesn't speak about the houses. You know, this might be the potential energy for this planet based on its aspects or its placement in the zodiac. It has nothing to do with the bhavas or you specifically, because I don't have your natal chart. So that your natal chart is the foundation for you. You know, it is the foundation that we as astrologers must have for these readings to be targeted to you. So if something resonates in these transits for you and you want to know further about you specifically, then you need to request a chart from Dharma Astrology for us to give you that analysis specific to you. So this is the natal and transit. And then I deal with, well, this is just another visual of the zodiac signs. And I put this up here because then I deal with the Dharma Trikona in my tarot readings. And the Dharma Trikona really deals with the fire, earth, air, and water trines. And the Dharma Trikona is your 1st, 5th, and 9th house. So in this chart here that we are seeing, in this chart we have the ascendant here in Leo. So Leo becomes your 1st house. Leo being your 1st house, it would mean Sagittarius is your 5th house, Aries is your 9th house. So this is the Dharma Trikona for the fire trine when Leo is your first house. If Aries was your first house, then Aries will be 1, Leo will be 5, and Sagittarius will be 9. Now with Dharma Trikona, I use the Dharma Trikona because Dharma Trikona is the spiritual angle of your of the aspects of your soul. You know, your first house is your soul's mission. The 5th house is the accumulated merit from past lives, whether it's good or bad, and that is punya purva, as we say in Vedic astrology. And the 9th house is the manifestation of past karma, so that you have those things coming forth in this life for you. And the tradition holds that your dharma is the primary aim of your human life, in this janam. Since your Dharma Trikona gives you the foundation which you develop wisdom and your discretion to pursue the other 3 Trikonas that we find in Vedic astrology. And those Trikonas are the Artha Trikona, the Kama Trikona, and the Moksha Trikona. And the houses here, the Artha Trikona starts with house number 2, then it goes to 6 and 10. Kama starts with 3 and Moksha starts with 4, and it's all 159 apart, but starts at these houses. So your Artha Trikona here for this Kundali that is up here, the 2nd house here is Virgo. So Virgo is going to be your 2nd house, and then the 6th house and the 10th house will create that Artha Trikona, which is wealth, Kama Trikona, which is happiness, and Moksha Trikona, which is liberation. But I don't deal with those specifically in my tarot reading because I focus on the Dharma Trikona because that's your foundation and it's the primary aim of the Purusha Shata, or the zodiac signs in Hindi religion. And then, you know, as we look at the tarot deck, we see wands, pentacles, swords, and cups. And these relate to fire, earth, air, and water. So that we have the fire, earth, air, and water in the tarot deck. We have the fire, earth, air, and water trines in the Dharma Trikona and in the 3 other Trikonas that I showed you. But this is where it comes together. This is the commonality. This is where I feel comfortable in using it. And wands is aligned to clubs. Pentacles and earth is aligned to diamonds. Sword is aligned to spades. And cups is aligned to hearts in the normal plane deck. And as I said, this is fire, earth, air, and water, and this is the source code of astrology. So that the source code of astrology is also found in the tarot deck. And when we use the source code of astrology as a blueprint of our soul, we become architects of our destiny. And remember, destiny can be changed when we use courage, willpower, compassion, choice. Fate we cannot change because fate is our natal placement of the chart. We cannot change our birth date. We cannot change our birth time. We cannot change where we were born on this date and time. But we can change destiny through our actions and choices. And therefore we become the architects of our destiny by using this blueprint of fire, earth, air, and water of our soul. So this is, you know, the timeline that I'm giving you. This is the little explanation. And as Zidam Astrology is doing things differently, I feel it is incumbent upon me to give you an explanation for you to understand what I do, why I do it, and how I do it. So that I hope this resonates with you. I hope you understand what I mean when I say what I said here and that my communication was clear. If you should have a question on anything, I am always open to discussion and learning. I have a wealth of knowledge that I have researched, but there is always more to learn. So feel free to send me a line, to comment on my blog, to comment on my channel, and share, sign up, and subscribe. I have left this slide up in my videos mainly for my new subscribers or persons who are not aware of some terminology that we use in Vedic astrology, and where how we divide the sky into the signs, the rasis, the nakshatras, the stars and the padas. You know, it may not be terms that you are aware of or that you have used on a day-to-day basis, and this is just giving you a heads up and to give you an understanding of what we mean or what I mean as astrology when I talk about the nakshatras and the padas and the placement of these nakshatras and stars and what it means for your kundali. So join me on this journey and request your report or your kundali so that you can understand what the stars and the universe have in store for you. Okay, before I close off this video, I'd just like to remind you to subscribe, share, and sign up at zdarmastrology.com or to my channel here on YouTube, where you will get all your readings, your patra readings, your tarot spreads, your runes and crystals inclusive in your reports, and your chakras. Please share, sign up, and subscribe.